All right, guys. So apologize for late night. Talking about this game. First I was watching Canelo versus Berlanga. Went exactly what I thought it was going to be. Won some money off of that, and now I'm watching the UFC fight with Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grosso. But Shevchenko's dominating that fight, so whatever. I have time to make this video before the main event of Sugar O'Malley versus Marab. Got some cookies as well. I don't know if you guys can see that. These cookies look amazing. I don't know if you get. Yeah, these cookies look absolutely amazing. Shout out to Insomnia. But yeah, guys, I want to quickly talk about Georgia. Georgia, man, let me tell you something about Georgia. They looked like absolute shit today. And any Georgia fan would tell you that. Any college football fan would tell you that. Any casual person that doesn't even know what college football is or doesn't even watch sports will tell you that. Georgia looked like absolute garbage today. Not defensively. Defensively, they looked really good. They looked like Georgia. The offensive line for Georgia got their ass kicked. And listen, Kentucky's got a couple of NFL prospects. Deion Walker may be a first-round pick next year for sure. But Kentucky whipped their ass on the line of scrimmage. Whipped their ass. And I mean, I'm talking not just the belt to the ass. I'm talking, go outside, pick the branch you want to pick, take the leaves off the branch, and then bring it inside the house. I'm talking about that fucking type of ass whooping. I mean, that was brutal to watch for Georgia. And honestly, like I said, a lot of Georgia fans have pointed out, man, they say, listen, we will lose in a couple weeks if we can't get the line of scrimmage fixed on the offensive side of the ball. That's how they lost to Alabama, and that's how they'll lose again if this crap may happen. Now, listen, Alabama, we have our own issues on the line of scrimmage. Now, today it looked fixed. It looked fixed today against Wisconsin. A big reason why was because you put in Caden Proctor and you put Elijah Pritchett at that right tackle spot, and it looked massively better. I mean, massively improved compared to last week against South Florida. But Georgia is a completely different animal, right? They're very good on the line of scrimmage. They have a very good nose tackle. They're very good, especially when it comes to the three techs. Their pass rushers with Jalen Walker is really good. Their linebackers are speedy as hell with C.J. Allen. And their secondary is very disciplined. They have even though it's young, it's definitely younger, but it's a more disciplined secondary. And quite frankly, I don't think there's been a passing game that has tested Georgia. And quite frankly, even though I think we have better weapons than any team that Georgia has faced, will Jalen Milroe be that much of a threat with his arm compared to, let's say, a Quinn Ewers, or I'll even say Arch Manning. Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, a Cam Ward, like some of the elite quarterbacks in college football. Jalen Milroe's beat them once, and Alabama won that game because they were more physical on the line of scrimmage. And Jalen Milroe was a threat with his legs, and he made some huge, impactful runs, and even some huge, impactful plays with his arm. Will that beat Georgia again? Maybe so, but the biggest reason why Bama won that game against Georgia was because of what they did. They dominated Georgia on the line of scrimmage defensively. Yes, Georgia had a few series here and there, but for the most part, Bama disrupted both sides of the line of scrimmage, and that's how they won the game. Now, of course, there's schematic. There's some things schematic. Of course, Nick Saban's defense with that pattern match defense always matches well against Georgia. Nick Saban knows Kirby Smart more than anybody in the country. Now, of course, Kellen DeBoer is an offensive guru. He's went up against a similar defense with Dan Lanning in Oregon, because Dan Lanning tried to copy the Kirby Smart formula into what he's trying to do right now with Oregon, and he's killed him 3 times offensively. But I do think right now the personnel for Washington, and I'm just talking about from a skill position standpoint and a quarterback standpoint, you can make an argument, even though they're not more talented, they're better. And if you don't believe me, just look at the NFL draft right now. I mean, Rome Odunze was a first-round pick. Jalen Polk was a borderline first-round pick, and then Jalen McMillan was arguably the best slot receiver in the country. They had elite offensive personnel, including at the quarterback position, and even the offensive line. Even though I would say I don't even think it's better. Like with Alabama's starting 5 right now, I don't think that I don't think Washington's better, but they're very equal. Like I think from a schematic standpoint and from a continuity standpoint, Washington matches up well with Alabama. But of course, Bama's got the better talent. By far, has got the better talent. But either way, both teams need to bring their A game. Because if Georgia gets their ass kicked again on the line of scrimmage offensively, Alabama's going to win the game. They're going to win the game. Because here's the thing, Alabama's going to, I'm telling you, they're going to win the game. Because if you can disrupt the timing of Georgia's offense, if you can continue to get pressure on Carson Beck, yes, Carson Beck can move. He's not Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is better at improvisation, and he's a much better scrambler. Can make better off platform throws, but ultimately he can get you those crucial first downs just by being the playmaker that he is compared to a Carson Beck. Like when you needed Carson Beck to make certain plays in certain situations, there are limitations within his game and Carson Beck that simply won't win you a game. Yes, Jalen Milroe has limitations as well, especially when it comes to the short intermediate game. He does have limitations, but we've seen that he can win against these sort of defenses simply because of his playmaking ability. He's a better playmaker than Carson Beck. And in college football, that's going sometimes just by simply being the better playmaker instead of being the better pocket passer or being the better processor, that can win you games more than being that. Like we've seen it a lot of times. Right? The crazy, miraculous third down plays that the Johnny Manziels make, the Deshaun Watsons, like those are the type of performances you have to have in order to beat elite defenses. Because sometimes by having that mobile quarterback, it doesn't matter how well you can kind of game plan somebody. If simply by having a playmaker that can scramble around and just by the slightest bitty mistake can catch you lacking, that can completely disrupt your game plan. And trust me, ask Nick Saban. Nick Saban will tell you firsthand. It's not easy going against these sort of going against the playmakers. Right? So we'll see at the end of the day. But yeah, Georgia got their ass kicked on the line of scrimmage. Kentucky, Mark Stoops this is the difference between the Kentuckys, the South Carolinas, and the Bamas and the Georgias and the Texases of the world. They know how to win. Like Bama and Georgia know how to win games. They know how to win. They've been through these crucial moments. They're very, very resilient. They can win you these football games. Kentucky's and the South Carolinas of the world just making dumbass mistake after dumbass mistake, which ultimately, like, they're talented football teams, but either coaching and just mismanagement of the clock, or just stupid shit that they'll do on the field, such as a block in the back against the quarterback, which why are you even touching him in the first place? Could have won South Carolina the game. Like, it's just the bad teams, they know how to lose. Even when they're supposed to win, they just figure out a way how to lose because it's just ingrained in their fucking souls. It's ingrained in the program for them to lose. In Kentucky, man, like I said, Georgia probably would have won the game anyway, but not going for it on 4th and 8 was a fucking dumbass decision. Georgia was moving the ball. They had gained a little bit of momentum offensively. Like, you're not even successful on the offensive. Like, you suck offensively. You're potentially going to be in midfield. You have 3 timeouts, so even if and your defense has been playing superbly well. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for the video. Bama, like I said, Bama, Georgia, that's going to be in a couple weeks. That's going to be hyped up as hell. We all know what's going to happen there. But I will tell you this, man. Yeah, Georgia, you got to fix your shit. But you got to fix your shit, because otherwise, if you don't, you know what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens in a couple weeks. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.